From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
The future for more Montana charter schools, with new applications being reviewed, what the Lockwood School District is planning, and remaining blocked for now, what's next for the state law banning gender-affirming medical care, and what both sides of the political aisle vow in response. Plus, bad connections, why Montana's broadband internet remains among the lowest rated in the country when it comes to coverage, and where this is felt the hardest. Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Thursday, December 12th. I'm Augusta McDonnell here with Miller Robson.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Augusta.
Yeah, good morning. And good to see you all on your Thursday. We had a lot of winter weather yesterday, and it's still going to be a dry.
I mean, we got dry conditions, but now I will tell you, even though it's drying up over there on the eastern side of the state where we did have some snow yesterday and the colder temperatures, watch out Miles City, Baker City, Webo, as the closer you get to the state line. Very icy conditions on the roads out there, so please be careful. Miles City, you may be dealing with a little bit of patchy fog this morning as well. Here in Billings, a great shot of the mothership in the background. We do have some clouds out there. Let's take a step back in time. Yesterday it got warmer, a good 11 degrees above the average. Wasn't a bad day at all yesterday. Our high getting up to about 47, our low of 31, and also about 11 degrees above average. Let's talk about temperatures over on the eastern side of the state. Yesterday we mentioned teens and 20s, some even areas even struggled to get above the single digits yesterday, but you will be warming up today. You're going to see some 20s, still below freezing, but by tomorrow trying to get back above the freezing mark. Gust yesterday, we had a gust of 30, still going to be somewhat breezy here locally, the Livingston area, still some strong winds this morning over 30 miles an hour. You'll be dealing with that for the weekend too. We'll talk about that coming up. Moisture totals, in the hole for the month. The snow totals, we're just in really bad shape there. Temperature wise right now here in Billings sitting at 36, feels like 30, winds out of the southwest at about 8 miles an hour from east to west, teens, 20s, and 30s, even some single digits over to our east. We will have a complete look at that forecast coming up as we cruise on into the weekend. What's in store for us? I'll let you know.
All right, lots to come, Miller. Thanks for tracking all of that. And in education news this morning, our top story, a dozen new charter schools could soon be headed to Montana. The state's Board of Education reviewed new applications yesterday. Those include one for a new school in Lockwood. The district there aims to add the Lions Path Academy Center. Our David J. takes a closer look.
Here at Lockwood High School, they want to put together an alternative charter school to help some of the kids who may be falling behind. It'll be inside this building, and that'll mean that some of the kids will still have that connection to the high school.
Thank you.
Lily Gill is a sophomore at Lockwood High School and has dreams of becoming a pediatrician.
I love kids, first off, and this school really helped me a lot.
And last year she needed help.
I would really never show up. I mean, I was failing all of my classes.
Lily received mentoring, which would be a big part of the Lions Path Academy Charter School.
We want those kids to know there's a place for them, whether that's just a question of I don't feel like teachers see me and I want to be heard, to kids that say I don't even know if anyone knows who I am or really cares how I do here. We need to change that concept.
Superintendent Don Christman helped present the proposal to the Montana Board of Public Education on Wednesday for possible approval.
We'll have 3 or 4 teachers just dedicated to the kids in the alternate ed program in the Lions Path Academy.
Currently, there are 19 charter schools across the state, including 3 in the Billings Public Schools. It's all thanks to House Bill 549, signed into law in 2023 to establish charter schools throughout Montana.
The charter school gives us that opportunity to be able to fund additional teachers, additional resources, and to find that extra space that we need.
Cole Cabin is one of the assistant principals at Lockwood High School and would oversee the charter school.
We have students that are at risk for not graduating either on time or at all.
This year, Lockwood saw several students opting for the high school equivalency test program at School District 2's Lincoln Center. That motivated the idea, with the administration wanting its own program to help keep at-risk students in Lockwood and encouraging attendance and accountability.
They might just need a smaller class environment, a more one-on-one with a teacher, and this will give them just a better opportunity to be successful.
The Board of Public Education will host a meeting in January to decide on the 12 applications.
It's going to help me a lot, especially to achieve my goal in life too.
In Lockwood, David J., MTN News.
David, thanks so much. In addition to Lockwood, there are 3 other areas looking to join the charter school landscape. Those are Laurel, Park City, and Hardin. And a Montana law passed in 2023 to ban gender-affirming medical care for transgender minors will remain temporarily blocked in the courts. The state Supreme Court handed down that ruling Wednesday afternoon. The justices unanimously agreed with a lower court judge that the law likely violates the state's constitutional right to privacy. Senate Bill 99, which was signed by the governor in 2023, would ban hormone treatments such as puberty blockers and surgeries for people under the age of 18. Missoula's Democrat transgender lawmaker Zoe Zephyr was banned from the floor of the House chamber during the 2023 legislative debate about this bill after telling lawmakers that passing the measure would leave blood on their hands. Zephyr told the Associated Press in response to the ruling that it reaffirms what we, quote, have already known, saying gender-affirming care saves lives, and like all healthcare decisions, it should be left between doctors and patients. Incoming president of the Montana Senate, Republican Matt Regier, quickly responded to the decision, vowing to keep fighting.
Our Montana children should not be going through irreversible transgender surgeries. Montana legislature will continue to fight against this crazy wokeness.
Montana Governor Greg Gianforte also called the ruling deeply disappointing. And here in Billings, a city council executive session regarding a Billings Police Department investigation will now be open to the public next Monday. This comes after 3 officers were placed on administrative leave for alleged misconduct during a May 2023 traffic stop on the city's north side. That case has now put more than 170 others under review, with dozens of cases potentially overturned. According to Yellowstone County Attorney Scott Twito, the officers involved are Matthew Bisline, Ian Busta, and Blaine Lane. A disciplinary report received by the Billings Gazette says all 3 have been disciplined multiple times over the past 4 years for violating department policy. The meeting is scheduled for 4:30 on Monday evening at the Billings Library. Regional and national organizations filed a petition Wednesday to change the management of grizzly bears in the Northern Rockies. MTN's Caroline Weiss has more on the petition and the scientific report behind it.
In 1993, Christopher Servine wrote the report that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service currently uses to manage grizzly bears in the Northern Rockies. More than 30 years later, he made some edits.
I've been working on this revision for the better part of a year, and it just happens to be completed now.
Though it came well after his retirement as the agency's grizzly bear recovery coordinator and University of Montana adjunct professor, Servine's updated report coincides with a critical moment for the future of western grizzlies.
There was no intention to pose this or release this just prior to the decision on delisting or not. They just happened to be at the same time.
The Fish and Wildlife Service has less than 45 days to decide on Wyoming's petition to delist grizzly bears, removing their protections under the Endangered Species Act. This, along with requests from Montana and Idaho, could have major impacts on bear management. Conservation organizations jumped at the chance to get Servine's report to the agency before their deadline, filing a petition on Wednesday.
The service has been managing bears under the same plan for the last 31 years. And yet so much has changed in the world of grizzly bear science and conservation over the last 3 decades.
Using Servine's report, the petition asked the agency to update the 1993 Grizzly Bear Recovery Plan, calling on Fish and Wildlife to adopt a metapopulation approach, managing bears in Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, and eastern Washington as a unified group, with a focus on areas connecting bear hotspots like the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem and the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem.
When we started the recovery effort, there were perhaps 300 to 400 grizzly bears in these 4 areas. And today we have about 2,000 grizzly bears from the Yellowstone ecosystem north to the Canadian border, almost all of them in these 4 ecosystems. But you'll note that they're existing outside the ecosystems and they're trying to connect between them today.
The 15 organizations behind the petition say it provides a path forward towards a healthy, resilient grizzly bear population in the lower 48. If adopted, they say it could bring resources to reduce human-bear conflicts, improve coexistence, and ensure populations don't decline as soon as their protected status goes away. U.S. Fish and Wildlife could not be reached for comment on this petition. In Missoula, Caroline Weiss, MTN News.
Caroline, thanks so much. And a new report released Wednesday gives troubling low grades to Montana's aging infrastructure. The state didn't receive above a C+ in any category. It's all part of the first study released by the American Society of Civil Engineers since 2018. The report evaluated 14 categories. Those include dams, drinking water, rail, broadband, bridges and schools. Each category received a C- grade, while schools received a D. In 2023, MTN brought you a series of reports on the state of Montana's bridges. 80 across the state were deemed structurally deficient by the Federal Highway Administration. Wednesday's findings show the problem is only getting worse. You'll find many other examples of structurally deficient bridges across Montana. The Federal Highway Administration has identified 80 as structurally deficient. This Montana Highway 41 bridge connected Twin Bridges to Dillon, and it was closed in April due to structural concerns. Traveling further to the west, you'll encounter the Maclay Bridge. This bridge was a major connector for motorists in the Missoula area. It was also closed to traffic due to structural problems. MDT is now planning to build a new bridge spanning the Bitter River there. Meanwhile, Montana's broadband internet coverage received an incomplete grade. The report says while improvements were made, the state still ranks at the bottom nationally in overall access with just 71% coverage. It's often Montana's native communities that are lacking most. Our Matt Carmack went to Lame Deer to find out if progress is being made.
A recent report found that nearly 21% of Montanans lacked broadband or fast and reliable internet coverage, and most of those people were indigenous. That's why here on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation, their government is working to fix that very problem. As you're driving through Montana's rural reservations, like this clip of Crow Agency, you probably noticed a lack of cell service and poor Wi-Fi.
The internet here, all we get is phone service at the tribal office or by the clinic.
William Wilson has lived on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation for over 40 years. He says the lack of reliable broadband has left him feeling disconnected from the outside world.
And I feel like a drifter. I'm from here.
And many Lame Deer residents feel the same. But their government is taking the initiative.
Everyone in our area, we want to be able to support with high-speed internet.
In 2022, the Biden administration approved a grant of almost $53 million for the reservation. The Tribal Council says construction for their 60-plus miles of broadband lines and communications operations system will begin in 2025.
Getting internet on the reservation, I think, is half the battle, and the other half is paying for internet service.
But Debbie Desjardins says this initiative is a long time coming.
And people don't understand it until they're there in a place where there is no internet and your phone doesn't work.
But nonetheless, change is coming, along with access to remote learning, telehealth, and jobs for the Northern Cheyenne residents.
I think it's great, and I hope every reservation gets the same grant.
In Lame Deer, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
Mac, thanks so much. The Billings water bill saga took another turn Wednesday. Meters were removed from homes and shipped out for testing as part of the ongoing audit. Higher than normal bills continue to frustrate residents as folks continue to wait for answers from the audit. They're expected in January. Our Isabel Sparks has the latest on this almost 6-month process.
This was the first home Wednesday to have its water meter replaced as the old one gets sent out of state for testing. It's one of more than 3 dozen on the list in the latest step of the city's continued audit.
The Allman family is just one of many Billings households seeing high utility bills.
It's been upwards of maybe like $300 or $400 a month, and some months higher than others.
They're hoping Wednesday morning would signal the beginning of some answers. The Allmans are the first to have their meter replaced by the city and sent out to be tested.
We remove the old meter and we put in a new meter, and then they send off the old meter to get tested, make sure it's accurate.
The process took all of 5 minutes. Those meters will be sent to SL Circo, the audit firm hired by the city to be tested by another third party.
It's not a quick process. So we're not waiting for the test results to complete the data review. We're going to continue forward with the data review. If that points us in another direction, that may change the number of meter tests because of what we find.
This is just the latest step in the city's audit process. In mid-July, we reported that the city had changed to a new billing system, causing a delay. And after bills were rolled out finally in August, residents reported seeing abnormally high charges.
I need to know now, because it's $40 a day for that much water.
Public Works maintained that everything was correct.
We still maintain that the meters are correct and the software is billing accurately.
After months of complaints, the city agreed in October to an audit. The firm has so far checked 30 random meters and are comparing bills from this year to last. In November, the city admitted to some errors. 40% of Cycle 2 bills were found to be incorrect, saying the software made too many estimations.
We estimate bills almost every month, but on the order of a handful, not 8,000.
The process is expected to be completed by January 31st. Residents like the Almonds say it can't come soon enough.
My hope is just that they make it right moving forward, but then they also retroactively make it right for those individuals that have significantly overpaid.
In Billings, Isabel Sparts, MTN News.